Why do the wealthiest in the village humble themselves to eat Mama Tobe's food? What horrifying truth made the madman laugh and call her customers fools? What dark secret hides in her cooking pot, waiting to be uncovered? Grab some popcorn and brace yourself for the spine-chilling tale of Mama Tobe, the infamous food vendor. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. Once upon a time in a small market Obiala, Mama Tobe was famous for her food. Her stall, Tobe's Delights, was the busiest in the bustling Obiala market. From sunrise to sunset, people queued for her meals. Even wealthy men, used to dining in upscale restaurants, left their pride behind, washed plates themselves, and waited in line. Not far from her stall, Nkechi ran her humble eatery. Once, Nkechi's yam porridge and spicy fish soup had been the talk of the town. But ever since Mama Tobe arrived, Nkechi's customers had vanished. Her stall sat empty, while Mama Tobe's overflowed with eager patrons. It didn't make sense. Nkechi couldn't understand why her food was no longer appealing. She used the same ingredients, bought from the same vendors, and cooked with just as much care. But the people didn't care. They flocked to Mama Tobe's, laughing and chatting as if enchanted by her food. It baffled her. One day, Nkechi overheard a madman near the market. He laughed loudly, pointing at Mama Tobe's stall. "You're all eating frogs," he shouted. "Frogs in the soup, you fools." People waved him off, laughing at his words. But Nkechi felt uneasy. The madman's voice lingered in her mind. Days passed, but Nkechi couldn't shake the madman's warning. She began to watch Mama Tobe's stall more closely. Customers behaved strangely. They seemed desperate, almost addicted to her food. Even the richest men humbled themselves just to eat there. Nkechi knew something wasn't right, but she didn't know what. Determined to uncover the truth, Nkechi decided to seek help. Late one evening, she left her home and traveled to see Obi, a famous seer in a nearby village. Obi was known for revealing hidden truths and exposing secrets that others couldn't see. Nkechi was desperate. Obi greeted Nkechi with knowing eyes. "You've come to learn about Mama Tobe's secret," she said, before Nkechi could speak. Nkechi nodded, her heart pounding. The seer's calm voice sent chills down her spine. "Her success is tied to something unnatural," Obi continued, "something dark and dangerous." Nkechi listened as Obi explained that Mama Tobe's food was enchanted. "There's a force behind her meals," the seer said. "It's not ordinary cooking. If you want to know the truth, you must act carefully. There's a way, but it will require courage. Are you ready?" Nkechi hesitated. Obi handed Nkechi a small pouch filled with a strange powder. "Sprinkle this near her cooking pot," she instructed. "It will reveal the truth. But be warned, what you see may change everything. Are you prepared for that?" Nkechi's hands trembled as she took the pouch. She nodded. Early the next morning, Nkechi arrived at the market. She kept her distance from Mama Tobe's stall, observing the usual chaos. The crowd pushed and shoved, eager for her food. Nkechi gripped the pouch tightly, waiting for the right moment to act. Her heart pounded with anticipation and fear. After some time, Nkechi saw her chance. The customers were distracted, and Mama Tobe was busy serving plates. Nkechi approached the stall casually, pretending to inspect some vegetables nearby. When no one was looking, she quickly sprinkled the powder near the large pot. She stepped back, her heart racing. At first, nothing happened. The pot sat quietly, steam rising from its lid. Nkechi began to doubt herself. Maybe the seer was wrong, she thought. Maybe there was no secret after all. But then the pot began to shake slightly. Nkechi's breath caught. Something was happening. The shaking grew more violent, drawing the attention of the crowd. The lid rattled loudly, as if something inside was trying to escape. People stopped eating and turned to look. The once lively chatter of the market faded into silence. Nkechi's hands shook as she watched, unable to look away. Without warning, the lid flew off the pot with a loud clang. The crowd gasped. From the pot, a massive frog leapt out, its slimy skin glistening in the sunlight. It landed on the stall's counter, its croak deafening. The crowd erupted into screams, scattering in every direction. The frog was unlike anything they had ever seen. Its eyes glowed an unnatural yellow, and its body was enormous, far larger than any normal frog. It looked around as if mocking the crowd. Its croak carried a strange, eerie echo that made everyone's skin crawl. Mama Tobe stood frozen, her face pale. She reached for the pot lid, trying to shove the frog back inside. But the creature croaked loudly, its gaze fixed on her. It seemed to recognize her, as if she were the source of its power. The crowd watched in horror. Nkechi stood at a distance, her heart pounding. She had uncovered the truth. But it was more terrifying than she had imagined. The frog wasn't just an animal, it was something otherworldly, a dark force tied to Mama Tobe's success. Nkechi's fear was mixed with a strange sense of victory. The market descended into chaos. People abandoned their plates, spilling food everywhere as they ran. Women grabbed their children, and men tripped over each other in their rush to escape. The frog croaked again, its sound vibrating through the air. It seemed to feed off the fear around it. The frog slowly turned its head, its glowing eyes scanning the abandoned market stall. It croaked again, louder this time, and hopped back onto the edge of the pot. Its slimy skin glistened as it sat there, unmoving, like a king surveying its kingdom. The silence that followed was chilling. Mama Tobe's face twisted with fear. She dropped the pot lid and stepped back, her hands trembling. For the first time, her usual confident demeanor was gone. The crowd had scattered, leaving her stall deserted. Plates and food lay abandoned on the ground, the remnants of her thriving business. Nkechi remained rooted to the spot, her eyes fixed on the pot. The frog hadn't moved again, but its presence was overwhelming. She felt a mixture of triumph and dread. The truth was out, but it had come at a cost. The market would never be the same. Slowly, whispers began to ripple through the market. Those who hadn't fled gathered at a distance, pointing and murmuring. "Was this her secret?" someone asked. "All this time we've been eating food tied to something evil?" Another whispered. The fear in their voices was palpable. Mama Tobe took a step back, then another, before turning and running. No one stopped her. By the time the crowd realized she was gone, she had disappeared into the maze of streets surrounding the market. Her stall, once bustling with life, was now eerily quiet. Nkechi's heart raced as she watched the scene unfold. The frog remained perched on the edge of the pot, its glowing eyes unblinking. She couldn't move, couldn't look away. The madman's words echoed in her mind, "You're all eating frogs." He had been right all along. Hours passed before anyone dared to approach the stall. A brave young man, trembling but curious, stepped forward. He picked up a stick and poked at the pot. The frog let out one final, loud croak before leaping back into the pot. The silence that followed was deafening. The young man dropped the stick and ran, leaving the pot as it was. No one dared to touch it again. The market slowly returned to life, but the atmosphere was tense. Vendors whispered to one another, and customers hesitated before buying food. The fear of the frog lingered. Nkechi's eatery began to see a trickle of customers again. At first they came hesitantly, casting nervous glances at her pots and pans. Nkechi reassured them, showing them how she prepared her meals. Slowly, their trust returned, and her business began to recover. But the memory of the frog haunted them. The abandoned stall became a symbol of fear. People avoided it, crossing the street to stay far from it. The pot remained where Mama Tobe had left it, untouched and covered in dust. The villagers believed it was cursed and warned their children to stay away from it. Over time, the story of Mama Tobe and her enchanted pot became a legend in Obiala. Parents told it to their children as a cautionary tale, warning them to be careful about what they ate. The market, once vibrant and lively, carried an air of unease. Nkechi's business thrived again, but she never forgot the events she had witnessed. She often wondered where Mama Tobe had gone, and if she would ever return. The frog, the pot, and the dark secret tied to them were mysteries she couldn't fully comprehend. The madman who had warned the crowd became somewhat of a local prophet. People began to listen to his ramblings, wondering if his madness was actually wisdom. "I told you," he would shout, pointing at the abandoned stall. "You ate the frogs, and now you've seen the truth." Nkechi, though relieved to have her customers back, felt a lingering fear. She often dreamed of the frog, its glowing eyes staring into her soul. She couldn't shake the feeling that something dark had been unleashed. The seer's warning echoed in her mind, "Be prepared for what you uncover." One evening, as the market began to close, Nkechi saw something strange. A shadow moved near the abandoned stall. Her heart skipped a beat. She thought she saw a figure, but when she blinked, it was gone. She hurriedly packed up her things and left, her unease growing. Weeks later, rumors spread that someone had seen Mama Tobe in a distant village. She was said to be selling food again, but no one dared to confirm it. The fear of her enchanted pot had spread far and wide, leaving a legacy of distrust among food vendors. Nkechi visited Obi one last time, seeking closure. "The darkness has passed," the seer told her. "But remember, greed and shortcuts lead to ruin. Mama Tobe's story is a lesson for all." Nkechi nodded, but deep down, she still felt the weight of the truth she had uncovered. The story of Mama Tobe and the frog pot became a tale told across villages. It was whispered around fires and told to travelers passing through. The frog, with its glowing eyes and eerie croaks, had become a symbol of greed and the consequences of unnatural success. As the years passed, the market slowly regained its former vibrancy. New vendors came and old ones thrived again. But the abandoned stall remained untouched. Even after Mama Tobe's disappearance, no one dared to claim it. It stood as a grim reminder of the events that had unfolded. Nkechi's eatery became the most popular spot in the market once more. Customers praised her honesty and skill. But Nkechi never let the praise go to her head. She worked hard, grateful for the second chance she had been given. The memory of the frog kept her humble. Despite her success, Nkechi couldn't forget the moment the frog leapt from the pot. She avoided walking past the abandoned stall, fearing what she might see. At night, she would lie awake, wondering if Mama Tobe's dark practices had truly ended or if they were waiting to resurface elsewhere. The villagers, too, were haunted by what had happened. For months, customers inspected every dish served by vendors, questioning every ingredient. The market buzzed with paranoia. "Are we eating real food?" they would ask. Trust, once abundant, had been shattered by the horrors of Mama Tobe's enchanted pot. One day, a group of curious children ventured near the abandoned stall, daring each other to touch the pot. As one child reached out, a loud croak echoed through the air. The children screamed and ran, spreading rumors that the frog was still there, hiding and waiting to return. This incident reignited fear in the village. Some elders demanded the pot be destroyed, but no one dared to approach it. They believed it was cursed and feared angering the spirits tied to it. The pot remained, untouched and gathering dust, a silent reminder of Mama Tobe's secret. Nkechi decided to cleanse the area herself. She approached Obi for advice. The seer gave her another pouch of powder, instructing her to sprinkle it around the stall at night. "This will purify the space," Obi said, "but do not disturb the pot. Leave it be." Late one evening, when the market was empty, Nkechi crept toward the stall. Her hands trembled as she scattered the powder around the cursed pot. The air seemed heavier and a strange chill ran down her spine. She whispered a prayer, hoping to drive away whatever darkness lingered there. As Nkechi finished, a soft croak broke the silence. She froze, her heart pounding. She stared at the pot, but nothing happened. Gathering her courage, she backed away, leaving the powder to do its work. The villagers noticed the difference immediately. An eerie calm settled over the stall. Slowly, the fear began to fade. People returned to the market with less hesitation, though the pot remained untouched. Nkechi continued to thrive, her honesty and hard work earning her respect and admiration. But she knew the events surrounding Mama Tobe's pot would never truly be forgotten. One day, news reached the village that Mama Tobe had been spotted again, far away, setting up a new stall. The villagers were outraged but too afraid to intervene. "She will face her fate eventually," the elders said. "No one can escape the consequences of their actions forever." Nkechi kept her focus on her business, refusing to let fear or anger consume her. She told herself that justice would come for Mama Tobe in time. For now, she was content with her simple life, free from dark secrets and unnatural forces. Her faith and hard work remained unshaken. The children of Obiala grew up hearing the tale of Mama Tobe and the cursed pot. It became a bedtime story, passed down through generations. Each retelling added new details, but the core message remained: greed and dishonesty lead to ruin, and the truth will always come to light. Travelers passing through Obiala often stopped to hear the story. Some laughed it off as superstition, while others shivered at the thought of eating from a cursed pot. The stall became a tourist attraction of sorts, though no one dared to touch the pot or linger near it for long. Nkechi's eatery continued to flourish. She treated her customers with care and respect, always making sure they felt welcome. Her honesty became a beacon of hope in a market once shrouded in fear. People came from neighboring villages just to taste her food and hear her story. Though the market thrived again, the memory of Mama Tobe's frog remained fresh. Vendors were cautious, ensuring their customers could trust them. The community had learned a painful lesson, but they emerged stronger and more united. Nkechi often reflected on how darkness had ultimately brought them closer together. Occasionally, Nkechi would visit Nen Obi to share updates and seek wisdom. "You've done well," the seer would say. "You stood against the darkness and brought light to your community. Never forget the power of truth and courage." Nkechi always left feeling grateful for the guidance she had received. As years passed, the story of Mama Tobe faded into legend. The cursed pot, once a source of fear, became a relic of the past. The market grew, new stalls appeared, and life went on. But Nkechi never forgot the day the frog leapt from the pot, changing everything. One evening, as Nkechi closed her stall, she noticed something strange. A faint croak echoed in the distance, sending chills down her spine. She looked around but saw nothing. Shaking her head, she told herself it was her imagination. But deep down, she wondered if the darkness had truly gone. The villagers also reported hearing strange sounds at night, croaks that seemed to come from nowhere. Some said the spirit of the frog lingered, watching over the market. Others believed it was a warning, a reminder to stay honest and humble. The mystery of the frog remained unsolved. Nkechi chose to focus on the present, finding joy in her work and the trust of her customers. She knew the past couldn't be changed, but she was determined to live a life free of secrets. Her journey had taught her the value of honesty, courage, and perseverance. And so, the tale of Mama Tobe's cooking pot became a part of Obiala's history, a chilling reminder of how greed can corrupt and how the truth, no matter how frightening, will always come to light. The frog's croak echoed in their minds, a symbol of the darkness they had faced and overcome. Thank you for watching this thrilling story. If you enjoyed it and want more captivating tales, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out. Share this story with your friends, and let's keep the conversation going in the comments below. See you in the next story.